WWE. For the last 2 summers, NXT Takeover Brooklyn has been one of the highlights of the year in wrestling, stealing the show on SummerSlam weekend and making stars of every wrestler to step into the ring in the Barclays Center. This third edition of the show was no different, and it may even have been NXT's best Brooklyn show yet. We saw 2 huge title changes, an even more shocking declaration of intent, and 5 top-shelf matches, including one of the best women's wrestling matches you'll ever see. It was a tremendous night for wrestling fans, and one that will be long and fondly remembered. WWE. Drew McIntyre steals Bobby Roode's glory, and his title. Drew McIntyre has had one thing on his mind ever since re-signing with WWE and joining the NXT roster at WrestleMania weekend earlier this year, winning the NXT Championship. On Saturday, he finally got his chance to do just that, finally getting his hands on NXT champion Bobby Roode. And when he got his hands on Roode, he did his best to give the longtime champion the beating of his life, but Roode's ring smarts and sheer skill kept him alive for a long time, repeatedly turning the tables on the huge Scotsman. He used every tool in his arsenal against McIntyre, using the ropes and the champion's advantage rules to stay alive when he was in trouble, and using his pure ability in the ring to hurt McIntyre at every opportunity. In fact, Roode had McIntyre on the ropes, hitting a glorious DDT that nearly won him the match, then hitting another right after his challenger kicked out, but instead of going for the cover, he picked McIntyre up to hit another glorious DDT. McIntyre struck back before Roode could lift him all the way up, knocking the champion senseless to set up his patented Claymore kick and finally winning himself the NXT Championship. Ember Moon has held a massive grudge against Asuka ever since the NXT Women's Champion cheated to beat her at NXT Orlando, then put her out of action and onto the injured list. So it was no surprise when she came absolutely flying out of the gates as soon as the bell rang, taking the match to Asuka and leaving the undefeated champion reeling. Asuka regained control, though, and started working over the recently healed left shoulder of Moon, putting her challenger through a series of agonizing submission holds to try and break her will. All that did was anger Moon, though, who responded by fighting her way up with Asuka on her shoulders, and hitting a rarely seen teardrop suplex to flatten the champion and take control for herself. That control was short-lived, though, when a sudden German suplex from Asuka bounced Moon's head off the bottom turnbuckle in the far corner, setting her up for the Asuka lock submission move. Moon was able to fight out of Asuka's first 2 tries to put her away, and even tried to get Asuka with her own move at one point, but the champion worked over her left arm some more before going back to the Asuka lock. Moon broke it by forcing Asuka's shoulders down, and that started a back and forth, wide-open stretch of the match that saw both women struggle to take full control of the proceedings. Ember Moon finally managed to get the upper hand, though, and looked like she had the match won when she finally managed to hit her Eclipse move, a corkscrew stunner that's taken out every other opponent she's faced. Asuka somehow kicked out, though, then used the referee to block Moon's second attempt. Moon kept pushing for the pinfall, but a crucial mistake let Asuka get her deep in the Asuka lock, giving Moon no choice but to tap out, leaving Asuka still undefeated and still the NXT Women's Champion. Aleister Black has carved an incredible path through NXT since his debut a few weeks ago, using his intimidating Black Mass spinning heel kick to beat everyone that stepped in front of him, and to knock out Hideo Itami when the frustrated Japanese star refused to leave the ring when Black was due to have a match several weeks ago. That moment set up tonight's clash, and it was a brutal and hard-fought match between 2 elite strikers, with Black spending much of the match bleeding after an early exchange left his nose bloodied. He didn't let that slow him down one bit, however, coming back with responses to everything that Itami threw at him, and Itami threw a lot of offense Black's way. In fact, at one point it looked as though Itami had the upper hand and had Black all but beaten, especially after a Michinoku driver off the top rope followed soon after by a Falcon Arrow. That set Black up for Itami's go-to-sleep finisher, but Black had just enough left in the tank to fight out of it and start landing shots of his own, shots that culminated in the Black Mass, leaving Itami unconscious on the mat once more, and leaving Black victorious once more. and with little left for him to do in NXT but challenge for the NXT Championship. Sanity outfight and outplot the authors of Pain. The NXT Tag